Are you ready to pay off your mortgage? Well, before you do that, we just want you to listen to this conversation that we're having amongst ourselves, because we were getting ready to pay off our mortgage and then we realized maybe this isn't the best idea. My name is Carmen.
And I'm Darius. And yeah, we were thinking about paying off our mortgage because we had an influx of cash that was just about the amount that we needed to pay off the mortgage. So why not pay the mortgage off so we don't have to worry about that monthly expense that comes every single month?
I'm reflecting as we're having this conversation, so don't mind me. Like literally, we almost like had the checkbook ready, and then life happened, and then like we delayed a day and a day and a day, and then it was actually just a blessing that it worked out that way. A distraction came up, and we weren't able to make that payment immediately, and then as we reflected back to, okay, we're about to cut this check, right? We were like, wait a second, does it make sense for us to do that? We always preach on the Wealth Nation channel when it comes to large debts such as your mortgage, right? We're only segmenting mortgages today. You either own all of it or nothing. And when we say own all of it, you either like pay it up front, pay that bad boy off up front, or you own none of it, meaning you ride the slow boat and you just pay the minimum payments every single month and take your time paying that bad boy off. And the reason we talk about this is because we want our viewers to really understand how you can utilize your income more efficiently to make more money than just to pay your mortgage down. Because let's say you have a balance of $300,000 on your mortgage. Do you literally take that income of $300,000 and put it to your mortgage? Is that $300,000 earning any money? No, you essentially just paid off a bill. Yes, do we have equity in our house? Yes, we do. But now we can't spend that equity because then we got to go ask for permission for the equity. We may or may not get approved for that equity. And if we really want to touch that equity, the easiest thing might be to sell your house. But then how long is that going to take? You get where I'm going. What we continue to ask ourselves is, should we take this $300,000 in cash and put it up in an investment that's going to give us a significant return where our income is now making money for us? Because we're always talking about money in motion. Our money needs to make money. So why not put that balance in an investment that's going to spit out a return, hopefully some sort of monthly cash flow that you can get. And then if you decide that you want to take the money that you're making from that investment to pay down your mortgage, then do so.
Right.
But we feel like you're really cutting your toenails off or your toes off when you throw that balance at your mortgage and it's not making any return for you.
One thing that I reflected on when we were going through this process is I thought about all the financial books that I read. How many of them talked about paying off the mortgage early? It was the people that didn't have money that wanted to pay their mortgage off early. So when I started reflecting on that, the people in the information and research that I've done, none of them talked about paying off the mortgage. But one thing I did come across is the conversation that Robert Kiyosaki had in his books, where he talked about how before he bought a car, he would buy an investment that bought the car for him.
Yeah, that's a good
one.
When
he wanted to buy his Porsche,
that's a good one.
He had assets that spit out the return on investment that could take care of his car for him.
That's a really good measure. Because sometimes we say on this channel, like in order for you to afford something, you have to ask yourself, can you buy it twice? So in this case, if you want to buy something, do you have an investment that's able to buy it for you?
Right.
Before you use your income to do it.
Right. And then when you think about paying off your mortgage, you're just giving the bank back their money, giving the banks their money back faster so they can go and do it again to somebody else. When you think about it, you're financing another investment for the bank, when you could be financing another investment for yourself that then pays for the bank and takes you out of the picture. When we start thinking about our money differently, we start using our money differently and getting different results. We should not have taken $300,000 and paid off the mortgage when we could have used that $300,000 to create a few other investments that gave us a higher return on our money than paying off our house.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to another video that we've talked about where we need to be liquid. And so if you take $300,000 and just pay off a debt, essentially, you're no longer liquid. And look at what has happened with COVID. That's changed everybody's minds and
pockets.
And pockets and
for the better for some, for the worse for some.
For the better or worse. Hopefully that should open up your eyes to recognize I need to be liquid. I need to have the ability to pull cash easily, to either have my money making money for me or to really get serious about investing, because I can no longer just rely on my income to make things happen for me.
Yeah, 100%. We have to stay liquid so that when an opportunity presents itself to make more money, we're able to jump on it. If we put all our money in the house or a huge chunk of our money in the house, there's going to be opportunities going past us that we're not going to be able to capitalize on. that we're going to regret that we tied up our money into one asset that isn't making us any money. But yeah, again, we don't have the monthly mortgage that we have to pay, but we also don't have...
That's the argument. I don't have to pay,
But you also don't have the money to take advantage of other investments also.
Really wrapping your mind around leverage. I don't really think leverage came into the forefront of our minds until we started understanding how to use money more creatively. Who tells you, or what marketing billboard is out there that says pay your house off early?
People's pockets tell them to pay their house off early because they think of the $1,500 or $2,000 or $3,000 they're paying every month. They're looking at their highest expense, not having to pay that highest expense anymore. That's what they're thinking about.
Yeah, I keep going back to trying to figure out, like, why does it make sense for us to take this large chunk of money and just pay it off and be fine with it, and then also be congratulated, right? Oh, your house is paid off. Congratulations. You're broke. Essentially, because remember, your house is not an asset. And there's going to be so many people that are going to argue us to the death, and that's fine. We truly believe that your house is not an asset. The house that you live in, because it's costing you money, whether it's taxes or maintenance or your HOA fee, whatever it is, that's money that's coming out of your pocket. And we don't take the time to think about these things again. So when you are in such a hurry to go pay your house off, you're spending money in something that is a liability and not an asset, because it's not going to generate the cash flow back for you.
Right.
So again, and the mindset shift of what am I about to do, because we have this conversation often with just our friends and family.
Now, paying off that rental property is a different story, because that's income coming back to you that you don't have to split with anybody else.
It should be. Let's be real, because so many people say I have a rental, but they're not making any money back. That's not the investment that you want. You better be making money on every investment that you're in.
Well, they will eventually after their mortgage is paid off in 30 years.
Yeah, in 30 years.
Well, still, I think this video can also help those individuals also, because they are in the investment mindset and they have the ability to get a second mortgage. So you also have the ability to generate enough income to where you can use that cash flow to create some other type of investments that is cash flow positive, so that you can pay off your rental property faster.
Let's be real in this. If you have a rental property and you're just making the ends meet, this is not a sound investment. We have to be honest, right?
Yeah, we have to be honest,
you either need to double check, are you charging enough, or do you need to go sell this bad boy and go buy another house that will allow you to pull some sort of return, because it's not worth your time nor your money.
Yeah, I agree, babe.
Thank you. We don't want to mislead people.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, you good.
I'm on it. I'm trying to figure out, and you guys please help me in the comments below. Where does this notion of paying our mortgage off come? Why do we feel like in such a rush to pay off our mortgage? And I'm asking this genuinely because I haven't been able to answer this question for myself. I don't feel like it's in advertisements. I feel like it's more so just in maybe bad financial advice.
No, I don't think it's in bad financial advice. I think it's just honestly, I think it's a feeling when you go to pay your bills every single month and you go to pay that mortgage. That's the biggest chunk of change.
The consumer mentality.
Yeah, that comes out of your income.
Pay off.
That's perfectly fine. The only thing we're saying is get somebody else to do that for you. Reason why it feels some type of way internally when you make that payment is because you're the one making the payment. Now, if somebody else made the payment, like how the banks feel when they get your payment for your mortgage, especially when you decide to pay it off early, they're like, oh, cool, I can do this again with somebody else. The banks don't want you to pay your mortgage off early. They want you to pay it off in the longest period of time that you possibly can, so that you can pay the most interest. Paying interest also is a benefit to you as far as your taxes, especially if you're getting close to retirement. All the kids are gone. You don't have any more write-offs. The only write-off you may have is your home, your mortgage. Mm-hmm. Just like Robert Kiyosaki mentioned in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah. Outsourcing.
Outsource it. Outsource your mortgage payments, and then continue making the same amount of payments that you would have normally made, and you can still pay your mortgage off without hurting your pockets at all.
Outsource your mortgage payments. Mm-hmm. That's what we need to lead with this in the caption. Outsource your mortgage payment. Don't pay your house off. Let someone else do it for you.
Exactly.
The other thing that we just want to share, especially too with the Wealth Nation community, is we hope that you join us by clicking on the link below. We have conversations like this inside of our community where we're challenging one another to think differently about our money, to be more strategic, to be more efficient efficient with our money. So we definitely hope that you join us.
Now, just to get back on topic, more of the story is we decided not to pay off our mortgage. Everything that we've learned up until this point, and we decided to not to pay our mortgage off, but to use that income to create other investments. And what that allowed us to do is that not only allowed us to increase our net worth so that we can eventually borrow more money if we wanted to, help the light switch go off in our mind, and something that we started to teach to everybody who will listen, that in order for you to be where you want to be financially, you have to get somebody else to do it for you. You have to have your money making money for you, i.e. have your money doing it for you. A lot of times what we do, a lot of times what we think is the harder we work, the hustle mentality, the more money we'll make. The more money that we can have working for us, the more money we'll make.
And I think it goes back to that creativity. Like, when people say it takes money to make money, it never takes money to make money. It takes creativity. That's what we want everyone to understand, is it's all about creativity. So all we had to do was put our thinking caps on, right, back in the day, like we were children, and said, well, how can we be better with this than just paying off a bill?
Right. You have to learn from the system, because the money that you have for your mortgage didn't even come from the bank. It came from us collectively so that you can have access to your money. Now, how can you do that on your own scale? You have to start thinking about where you put your money and how it's operating for the lender, and how you can have that apply to yourself.
The biggest thing, the biggest takeaway, I think I would say, is just from us, is being able to have the conversation to say, wait a second, maybe we can do a little bit better than what we think we want to do, because we are not all high and mighty to the point where we teach financial education, and sometimes we fall into the same habits that consumers fall in, because that's that muscle memory. We're looking at the money sitting in the bank and going, oh, let's just pay the house off. Let's be done with this. But again, we have to be better than that.
Right.
And that's why we're now able to share the story today, to share with you, because we feel like so many people are contemplating the same thing. And we just want to let you know that there are other options that you can take, and there's things that you can do to accelerate your financial independence, if you want to call it, your financial freedom, do whatever it is that you want to do, by just not paying off your mortgage and changing your mindset to say, okay, I'm going to outsource this. Either someone else is going to pay it for me, or I'm making way more money doing something else, and I'm fine making these monthly payments.
Right. And when we say you don't have to pay off your mortgage, meaning you don't have to do it specifically out of your income. You can have your money work for you and generate enough interest or enough return on your investment to do it for you. Now,
one caveat that we haven't said, I think, is if you are not going to invest those funds and make money, then it probably makes sense for you to pay your house off.
Right, because that money sitting in your savings account is not keeping up with inflation. So you're losing money by having that money sit there, go back and forth about what you should do with it.
Well, the inflation and the taxes piece of it, but what I was referring to is the interest that you're paying to the bank in just your mortgage note. So you have to make sure that you are making enough money outside of paying your mortgage off so that it covers that interest that you're paying to the bank. So that's why for us, if you are not in the creative mindset to be able to invest and flip money, then it probably just makes sense for you to pay your house off and call it a day, because it's not going to make sense for you from a financial standpoint.
Yeah, and in either event, you either have the money to pay your house off, or you pay your house off early. You still come out on top, because you are controlling the funds. When you're able to control your money, then things around you seem to happen in your favor, because you are the one controlling the money.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope that this video was enlightening to you today. Again, we had this topic come up, and we said, we have to share this with our audience. So definitely leave us a comment and let us know what you think about our conclusion. And we hope that you continue to watch more of our videos by clicking on our next video here, where we talk about passive income.
Remember to own your own lifestyle,
or someone else will.